So yes, it's BG Dollars, and today we're going to be discussing what could happen in the markets next week, what news we're expecting in terms of the US, the UK. We have got Andrew Bailey speaking next week. We have got the US inflation report next week. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. This is BG Dollars, and we just do discuss investment ideas, stock picks, and yeah, it's just an educational channel on getting more people to invest. That is my main goal, because the thing is, a lot of people don't understand and think investing is some sort of smart finance techie, but realistically all it is just a good way to make money. That's all it is. Anyone can invest. You can invest today for as little as £1, as little as $1, and it's very simple. So let's go through some market moves ahead of next week, and we shall see what I think is going to happen. So first of all, of course, it would be wrong to not start with the S&P 500, and this is the 4-hour chart. Now you're going to see a lot of lines on the screen, but bear with me, I will be explaining that. This is the sort of downward trend line trajectory. That's why these two blue lines are here. And these are just support and resistance lines. Now, if you don't know what support and resistance lines are, these are just where the market changes direction. So as you can see, look, the market hits this black line, bounces up. Hits it again, bounces up. It comes crashing through the third time, hits this black line down, hits the black line, goes down, hits the same black line, goes up. So we can use these black lines in the future to trade off them. Like, for instance, if the market came up to this black line, boom, I could thinking it could change direction at this line, like what it's done repetitively previously in the markets, and it's likely to do it again. So that's why those lines are on the screen. Of course, these are the trend lines, downward trajectory for the market. And again, look, we've hit the blue line, we've bounced down, hit the blue line, we've bounced down, we've come up again, hit the blue line, we've bounced down. And I do have some positions on the markets ahead of this next week, S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. I have bought in on the Friday, so hopefully all goes well. I should be making some profits. I am currently down, but that is investing, folks, right? Understand that you're going to be in negative territory at some point in the positions, you know. Of course, I bought at this black line, and now we're down to here, you know. No big sort of deal. I bought the black line because, look, here you can see the market hit the black line, change direction. So I've bought the black line again, hoping it would change direction. Of course, it still could. I could still make money on the trade. So who knows? Anyway, that is the S&P 500. I do think that we are moving upwards next week. Of course, I do have a buy position on it. I'm looking forward to that one. And again, my sell would be at this black line. I just think the market has sold off a bit too much. You know, we are right at the bottom. I think the market has a rally. We finished inside 20% for 2022. Of course, we are down around 22 to 23% year to date. And I think come December, by the end of the year, we'll be inside to that 20%. I think we'll be around 18% down for 2022, which means we have got a bit of room to run towards the end of the year. Hence why I have bought. Anyway, moving on. Of course, we have got huge news next week, don't we? Let me have a look. I do use Forex Factory. For those of you who are investors, and if you are still watching, of course, do hit that subscribe button. But if you are investors, Forex Factory, a great little website there, really does tell you everything, all news related. Of course, you can put filters up here, and I've got filters for the euro, the pound, and the dollar. So I'm only going to see news there. But if you trade the Aussie dollar currency, if you trade the Swiss franc, then of course you can rearrange those filters, and you've got event types, you've got growth, inflation. Yeah, a good little website. Of course, this isn't a promotion for the website. I'm not getting paid for this, so I'll quieten down. Anyway, Tuesday, we do have Governor Bailey have a speech at around 7:35 p.m. A late one, of course. I'll probably be having dinner at that point. But who knows what he could come out and say. Of course, the UK markets are in a bit of turmoil at the moment. We are seeing gilts very low. We're seeing gilt yields on that very high. Of course, people just selling out of their gilts because, of course, the new budget came out. Boom, we're going to fund this, we're going to tax cuts. Of course, tax is revenue for the government, if you didn't know. When you pay tax, that's income towards the government. And if the government has got huge debt to pay back and they're planning tax cuts, that means the government is planning less income for themselves. So how are they going to pay that debt back? Well, people lose faith in the government. People don't want to hold their bonds because they don't think they're going to get the payments back from the government, and then they sell out of their bonds. And that is why we're seeing bonds dropping like a rock, and we are seeing bond yields skyrocketing, which of course just makes it more expensive for the government to pay back, because the bond yields, the gilt yields, are the interest rate on the gilt. So then the government has to spend more money providing the interest on the gilts to the people that are still holding them, if that makes sense. I know it can get a bit confusing, but of course gilts are, you know, if you are from America, then you probably shouldn't need to worry about gilts. US bonds are my favoured of the bond perspective. Anyway, of course, we do have PPI and core PPI, producer price index. Of course, it measures the sort of goods inflation, change in the price of finished goods and services sold by producers. Again, not a big number, not a really big market mover, so not too much to worry by there. Of course, we have the CPI on Thursday, probably the biggest news ahead of next week. US CPI is going to come out month after month, so of course we are in the month of October, so the CPI will come out for September. So the inflation rate that will come out will be for September. Of course, you're seeing these small numbers. These are not the inflation rate. This is the growth month over month. So if we get 0.2%, that means it's grown 0.2% from September. Of course, we will get a CPI year over year as well, and that's expected 8.1%. So of course, they are predicting inflation to have come back down. Of course, in July, for June's figure was the worst at 9.1%. But then we've seen an 8.5 and 8.3, and now we're projecting another downward trend to 8.1. The Fed are very focused on bringing down inflation, so hopefully we can get that figure. Core CPI, again, is another one to look at. Actually, in September, we came out at 0.6, quite a high figure. Again, we're predicting 0.4% for month-over-month growth. Core CPI is just excluding the food and energy, okay? So it's the same really thing, same thing as the CPI. It measures inflation, but it just excludes food and energy. It really is focused on your sort of household bills, shelter, the car market, you know, how much a used car's gone up by. So yeah, of course, it's everything excluding food and energy. So yeah, that is an important one to go by. And then, of course, we do have retail sales out later on in the week. Consumer sentiment. Consumer sentiment is an important one. It has actually recently gone up. We had 50.2, so close to under 50 in June the 10th. Of course, we are actually seeing consumer sentiment start to rise, probably due to the fact that we're seeing inflation start to come down in the US. Well, we are. I think that the actual CPI for this will come out more. I think it will come out around 8.2%. Or it might come out expected at 8.1. I don't think it will come out below. Could do though. Who really knows? And then of course we have got Governor Bailey's speech again. Anyway, let's go through the markets. Of course, we've got the S&P 500. I've given you my view on the S&P 500. I think it will go up. I do have a position, as I said, of in the S&P 500. I've also got a position in the Nasdaq. And normally we see if the S&P 500 moves up, we see the Nasdaq move up. Nasdaq is just more of a risky S&P 500 in my viewpoint. Of course, it follows moves. Look, here's the trend line. Again, look, boom, we bounced off. We came back up to trend line, we bounced down. Came back up to trend line, we bounced down. Came back up to trend line, we bounced down. So we could come back up to this trend line and bounce down if we do come up to that trend line. Of course, I will be shorting the market at this trend line. Right down here, as I said, I am a buyer. I think we come up, and I said I do think we finished the year higher than where we are today. So they're my positions ahead of next week. Of course, I have gone through the news. If you want to see my positions in greater detail, boom, I am down $135. Of course, it's not to worry because as investors, you know, we understand we are going to be in negative territory. This could easily change tomorrow throughout next week. Who knows? I could be down minus $500. I could be up $400, $500. I could be up $2,000. I could be down $2,000. That is what we are looking at when it comes to investing. However, normally if you just invest for the longer term, you know, it all sorts of works out in the end. I will just go through some stocks as well. Of course, Shopify was a huge one. I do like to invest in Shopify, of course. It's a very risk-on stock. So if I do think the markets will go up, then I think Shopify will start to trend upwards. Again, look, this black line has been marked out. Boom, we bounced off it, we bounced off it, we bounced off it. We just traded below, but again, we bounced off. We got up to it, and boom, we bounced down. It's one that follows the rules very, very well. Look, again, look, this sort of area, boom, we go down, we come up, we go down again, we come up, we go down, come up to the same area, we go down, we come up to the same area, and we trend down, and then we come up to this black line that we change, and we've gone down. So any stocks that like to follow the rules of trading, which is, again, repetitive sort of areas where the market changes direction, is normally the same areas that it does in the future as well. Like here, for instance, boom, we change direction, boom, we change direction. In the future, boom, we change direction. That was just this week, a few days ago on the 4th of October. Of course, we are on the 9th of October now. If it comes back up to this line, maybe I will short it, continue it down. However, look, I do think that the markets have a little rally rebound towards the end of the year. I'm not talking massive percentages gained. I think we're down about 23% in the S&P 500. I think we'll finish off at 18% down. Of course, I could be wrong. This is no financial advice. I do have positions in the Nasdaq and the S&P 500, as I've repeatedly said today. Of course, we've got the inflation on Thursday. We've got consumer sentiment. We've got the Governor Andrew Bailey speech on the Tuesday. Yep, here he is at 7:35 p.m. I think he will discuss the gilt markets, the gilt crisis that's sort of going on in the UK. And yeah, I think generally quite positive. We are making confident moves in the markets. Of course, investing really can be very simple. I don't actually advise you to do what I'm doing. I'm sort of doing this because I want to make bigger sort of profits, and because I've actually tried to educate myself on this. If you don't like finance, which is okay, totally get it, whatever, blah, 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 then you might not want to do this, but I just guarantee you investing for the long term will just make you a bit of money, Don't sell it, don't, fund your drinks on a night out or anything. Just hold it for long term. Just put aside a bit of your income. I'm not talking a lot, just a little bit week by week. It all adds up. And over the years, you'll definitely be grateful you've done that. You just get started today, of course, with £1 or $1. Anyway, that has been BG Dollars. Of course, I do videos 2 or 3 times a week. Of course, they all are on investing, on sort of stocks, movements, market movements. I do keep you updated on what I've got trading. Anyway, that has been BG Dollars. I hope you have enjoyed. If you are still watching, please do subscribe, like, comment on what you want to see on the channel, maybe if you like this sort of investing video. And yes, thanks very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.